This video tutorial is designed to show you how I like to assemble a boxed pouch. It's a little bit different than some of the ways that you might traditionally see, and in this example I am making a candy box pouch, which is a new pattern that we will be releasing September 1st. You can see here that I've made the pulls as well as the tab for my pouch. I've cut the exterior down. After I've quilted it, I've stitched the edges so that everything stays nice and secure as I'm assembling. And you're going to notice here that as I put the zipper in place to go ahead and install that, I'm extending the closed end of the zipper, which is longer than I need for a reason. I'm extending that closed end well past the edge of the pouch. So I'm going to need that room later to manipulate the bag. And so if you're new to zippers, I would go ahead and baste the zipper in first. I'm very comfortable sewing in zippers, and so I'm going to do just go ahead and sandwich the lining on top of the zipper and the exterior, and go ahead and use the zipper foot to stitch that in place. Once I've sewn the zipper in place, I'm going to push the lining and the exterior away from the center of the zipper so that I can top stitch those layers in place. The next step is to install the zipper on the opposite end. And so I've just brought the zipper tape up to the opposite end of the pouch and align those raw edges. And I'm clipping the zipper in place, and then I'm going to clip the lining in place as well, and then take that back to my machine and install the zipper. In this step, you can see why it's so important to have that extra length of zipper at the closed end so that I can open that up and have the space to be able to manipulate the bag under my machine, and as well as to pin and clip it so that I can top stitch that side. And so once I have that top stitch in place, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open the zipper so that I can then flip the bag right sides out. And I'm going to go ahead and take the time now to install my handle. And you can see that I'm just aligning the raw edges with the side beginning about an inch from the top of the bag and clipping that in place. And then I'll just tack that down with some stitches about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. The next step is to install the pull tabs. And so I'm going to close the zipper, manipulate the bag so that the lining is together and the exterior is together. And you can see that I'm just going to align the edge, the raw edges of that zipper pull tab with the edge of the bag. And I'm just going to tack that in place. And you can see that I've centered that on top of the zipper tape. On the opposite end where the zipper is open, I'm going to make sure that I pull my zipper pull back into the bag so that I don't cut it off. You can certainly reattach it, but it's not very fun, at least not for me. And so I'm gonna just quickly tack my zipper together here and then install the pull tab in the same way. So I'm gonna center that on top of the zipper tape and just give it a quick basting stitch right there on the edge. So now we're almost done. We just need to close up the sides of the bag and then box the corners, and we'll be ready to turn it inside out and close it up. So you can see here that I'm actually have manipulated the bag so the exterior is together and the lining is together, and I'm clipping the sides of the bag closed with some clover clips, and then I'm gonna sew those shut, making sure that I backstitch at the beginning and the end, because we're going to be boxing these corners, and so when I go to manipulate those, I don't want to pop any stitches open at the end of that seam. We're going to do the same thing for the lining, but I'm going to make sure that my zipper is open before I do that so that I can easily turn the bag later. And so you're going to, same process, you're going to close up the sides of the bag, and then you'll also close the bottom of the lining, but you're going to make sure that you leave about a 3.5 inch hole in the center so that you can turn it later. So you're going to see me zip along the sides and then work on the bottom of that. Okay, now we're gonna box these corners. We're gonna start with the corners that have the zipper, and you can see that I've just manipulated this so that I'm pushing that side seam of the bag exterior up to meet the center of the zipper. And I'm gonna clip that with clover clips and then sort of flip that around and do the same thing with the lining, making sure that those seams are lined up. And I'm just gonna clip all those layers together and then take that over to my machine and stitch it closed. Make sure that when you're boxing these corners, you are backstitching at the beginning and end of each seam to make sure that's a secure seam, and then you can trim off the excess zipper tape. You're going to repeat this process at the opposite end of the zipper to box the other corner, and then you're going to box the bottom corners of the bag as well as the lining bottom corners. Once you finish boxing the corners, you're going to gently turn the bag right sides out through the hole that you left in the lining. And so just take your time with this and be gentle, and then push out the corners with your fingers as you get the bag turned right sides out. Once I finish, I like to iron my bag into shape. And so I kind of just make some folds where it would normally have a crease, just kind of naturally, and press that to help shape the bag. And so I do that on the sides as well as the bottom and the top. You can see I'm just kind of creasing it where it's naturally wanting to go, and then just giving it a little bit of a press to help it look nice and neat. I hope that this video tutorial has been helpful in showing you how I like to box a pouch. We have several different box pouch patterns available at SolexFabric.com, and we invite you to like the video and subscribe to our channel.